quickly run through the papers and I'll take a break and tell you who my guests are. The Daily Guide has the front page. It says, bombshell, EC clears 4, drops 13. And the photographs are here. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President John Dramani Mahama, and then out, Hassan Ayarga, out, Akua-Donkor, and running mate. That's on the front page of the Daily Guide. The Ghanaian Times, 4 get the nod, and it lists those who are out, Indum, Nana Ayarga, Akua-Donkor, out. That's the story. And another story from the fallout, it says, aspirant carries cash to EC. You can see the cash on the floor, comes with a photograph. Daily Graphic, smiling photos of the 4 who have gotten the nod. Race for the presidency, 4 aspirants get nod. 12 disqualified. Odike awaits fate. I think that is the truth. The others are reporting that Odike was also disqualified, but EC says no. We will wait for the court case and take a decision. The Financial Post says partners fear elections spent. Related story there. The statesman said NPP to offer free Wi-Fi to senior high schools, poly and varsities. The biggest story of the day says tsunami hits presidential candidate. 13 disqualified. It's actually 12. 1 is, if we can put it, waiting list. Now, the finder shifts away from the disqualification and says Dumso to resurrect. Explosion at Abuazi plant leads to 400 megawatts power cut. The photograph of the Deputy Power Minister, John Jinapo. BNFT says power firms in 19 billion Ghana cedi debt maze. That is story there. And Economy Times, government said to issue dollar-denominated bonds. IMF projects end-of-year inflation of 13.5%. And Daily Express this morning says NDC launches real version of 2016 manifesto. The story, it says, is inside the pages of the news. So those are the stories I have, the papers I have with me here. My guest this morning to do the talking, Kwame Agboja is a member of parliament for the Adaklu constituency of the Volta region. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you're doing good.
Yes.
And how did the festival go?
Massive. I mean, the Mr. Community, culture and friendliness and everything. It was well attended. I'm grateful to the chiefs and everybody who helped organize and execute that.
Okay. You invited Alex. He didn't turn up.
I knew he was.
He was busy campaigning.
Somewhere. Well, Wondercam doing something else. I know he would have been there because from there to his father's hometown.
It's not far. Okay. Kwame, welcome. Kwame, welcome once again. Alexander Afejo Markin is a member of parliament for the Futu constituency of the Central Region. Alex, good morning too. And how is the campaign going?
Well, as usual.
Yeah.
It's time consuming.
Okay.
But we've still not had any response from the police regarding our security.
Your security situation.
I don't know when they would want to respond to this, but it's very important.
Okay.
And by the way, the fisher folks in Efutu still expect that the president will honor his promise
of
constructing the landing beach.
Oh, okay.
It's been 8 years.
Okay.
And then they also had their properties destroyed as a result of the tidal waves. They expect the government to intervene because this is their fishing season. They are, however, grateful for some efforts being made.
Okay, so some efforts have made.
Some efforts, but these are belated efforts.
Okay.
Do you want me to go into that?
No.
I'm not even ready to.
We'll go into that. Alex, welcome once again.
Thanks a lot.
And thanks so much. Now, let's start with this one. Very key on the media this morning. The Daily Graphic posted 4 aspirants get nod. 12 disqualified. Odike awaits fate. The Daily Guide says bombshell. EC clears 4, drops 13. The Ghanaian Times says 4 get the nod and goes ahead to list out some names that were dropped. Now, Alex, please let me start with you this morning. Did the 17 who picked the form, were you expecting that all of them will get onto the ballot? And what has happened? Has it come to you as a shock?
Not really. Obviously, some of the candidates, you could see clearly that they couldn't have been able to go through. I don't want to name them, but you know, the non-serious ones among them. I'm also happy that the EC is going by the law. Now it's left with the parliamentary vetting. I recall that when we're submitting, I don't know, Kwame, come in if I'm wrong. I remember that when we're doing the parliamentary submissions, the returning officer had to go through all the forms, check with their system to be sure whether there was any double registration regarding any of the supporters. So they did all that.
So, and you got the feedback?
We got the feedback. Okay. So at least for my constituency, I know that once the return officer signed as having accepted the form and that of others, there's a clean bill.
It means accepted.
Exactly. I don't know of the practice
with the presidency.
No, with other constituencies regarding the parliamentary filings. But I expect that the EC would also come out on the parliamentary filings that were done. I'm not sure they would have difficulties there because the returning officers at the various constituencies did their job. Now, what become of those parliamentary candidates who have qualified, yet their presidential aspirants have been disqualified? That's also another issue politically to deal with. But the point is this. You remember that not too long ago, I raised this issue of the transfer of votes, that the CI 94 spells out clearly that transfers are done by the returning officers. Now, the EC conducted two major exercises in preparation for this election, the proxy and the transfer. The proxy took 40 days. Within the period of 40 days, we didn't have returning officers. It was the district electoral officers who were processing the applications. So obviously, there was that illegality because the returning officers were only sworn in last week. Ashanti, Central, Eastern, I know that they were sworn in last week, Wednesday. For the transfer, for the first 22 or 3 days, it was the district electoral officers who were doing the transfers, contrary to law. So, looking at EC's compliance with the law, I expect them to make a public statement on this matter. Because from yesterday's press conference, it's quite clear that the EC is not taking kindly to all those petty mistakes. If you look, for instance, at Dr. Indom's case, where the same person filled it from one district and then another district, and they say, look, you're disqualified because you have erred, and that could even have some criminal intent and all that. It tells you that, well, the EC would not want to do things anyhow. It now wants to look at the law. I was rather surprised that Mr. Hassan Ayariga, who has all the time been praising the Electoral Commission, vented out in very unkind, unsavory language yesterday. But I've also been told that he has since apologized. Yes, let us tackle the Electoral Commission. When they get it right, let's commend them.
Right.
If they get it wrong, let's be constructive in our criticism. It shouldn't be a personal attack on Madame Osei. If there is any criticism and it's directed at her, it should be for the purpose of the institution.
Right. Well, fair to has a chairperson.
Exactly. Right. She is the chairperson, so that we deal with it. So they're exercising their mandate. I expect also that those who are affected will look at the remedies that they can resort to at law. If you think that it's unfair to you, you know the steps to take and all that. But to us in the NPP, we are happy that we have demonstrated our understanding of the electoral process that our flag bearer has gone through. There were no issues. We successfully launched our manifesto. The manifesto sought to reassure Ghanaians and to give hope to the voters that we're going to put in place measures that would ensure that the unemployment situation is reduced, that the private sector once again become the engine of growth, that government would partner the private sector to create the necessary employment opportunities, as in ensuring that one district, one factory, ensuring that the decentralization is giving the real boost, making available funds to constituencies $1 million and allowing the constituency through the MP and other stakeholders to actually decide on their core developmental needs. It's a milestone policy that the NPP is going to introduce when it wins
elections.
The elections come December 7. So, well, the 8 years of hopelessness, the 8 years of bitter Ghana, the 8 years of blame game, the 8 years of doomso, the 8 years of high unemployment, the 8 years of high cost of doing business, and the 8 years of high cost of government projects, and the 8 years of waste would come to an end, so that we give true meaning to the values that we have as a people when it comes to the use of our state resources. You remember that some of our friends have been questioning how and where we're going to get money.
Well, so,
Kwame and his group.
I don't even want us to go, but I was going to ask you your issue of the one constituency, $1 million. Some have suggested that it means touching the governance system, and it talks about changing the constitution. Has the party thought about that?
This is a policy. This is a policy matter which has nothing to do with a constitutional amendment. Listen,
the governance structure is done with the district. Now you are going to deal with the constituency.
Never mind. Let me explain to you.
Briefly.
The district assembly, I should explain to you and you say briefly.
Yeah,
how would you get it? Okay. The district assembly concept would be there. This is giving special emphasis and focusing on certain developmental needs, where at least funds will be available directly at the constituency level.
So who
you see, a district.
Hold on. Level?
A district level, a district could have 2 or 3 constituencies. You know that. A district could have 2 or 3 constituencies. It's not all districts that have one constituency. All right. Now, if you, instead of central government coming in with projects rather haphazardly, or central government taking up certain initiatives directly, which may not have certain direct benefits
on the constituency.
Yes, it is. This policy is aimed at giving the member of parliament who has a direct mandate. You see, it is also curing that.
Okay, so the money goes to the MP.
Not necessarily. It is not going to him as a person to disburse. That is not the question. That's not the issue. I'm saying that the member of parliament who has the mandate of the people constitutionally is to make laws, but practically he is a development agent. Now, at the constituency level, what this policy seeks to achieve is to assist the assembly members, the other stakeholders, the MP, to actually take control of their own destiny. I.e., we need this at this critical time. The government of Ghana does not want to depart from the previous idea of coming to construct a market where nobody will find use. Look, if you are traveling, you're traveling to Cape Coast. Under the NDC, there, if you pass Asia, there's a project which is supposed to be a rest stop. They've invested heavily there, yet nothing is going on. All right, the place is becoming bushy. If you look at the project, it will be not less than 2 million Ghana cedis. One of the failures of this government has been the project they've embarked on without considering the priority needs of the people.
Okay, now to cure it, you have been talking for 10 minutes.
Very well, thank you. To cure this, you need to give access to the stakeholders at the grassroots level to participate and to also determine how they're going to do this, so that the effect will be felt at the constituency level. It's a very laudable initiative.
Okay, all right.
And until same is tested and implemented,
we cannot
just witty-wash it and then criticize.
I'll get Kwame to react to it too. But Kwame,
no, he should speak about his manifesto. How does he react to what he has no idea of?
Oh,
definitely he will criticize. When Akpotso Joseph said he could clap for a TV to be switched on, he could clap. People said he couldn't do it, but he's done it, hasn't he?
Okay.
So obviously, he who has not seen through the vision.
But he has his own ideas too.
No, that's what I'm saying. That I want to encourage him this morning to talk about his own vision, that of this party, not to come and banter me.
Alex, I'm grateful. Vision. He will not. Let's hope Kwame will not. But well, I agree with the chance. If he doesn't, it's up to him. Kwame, but let's start with the 4 aspirants who have gotten the nod, and then the 12 that have been asked. Taken off the ballot, let me put it that way. Some have said that some political parties have always gone to sleep and only wake up when it is elections. And this is a clear example of some of the things that they miss because they've been sleeping.
Well, thank you very much, and good morning to the cherished viewers across the country, especially those in Adaklu. Of course, I feel sorry for all of them who have been disqualified, especially Kofi Akpaloo, who was a very good friend when we were living in London. And I know they were all looking forward to a vigorous campaign. Isn't it amazing that some of them who have got the loudest mouth to criticize everybody about diligence, about competence, and spent a lot of time chasing what killed President Mills, for instance, like Ndum. Around the same time, he should be filling a form. He was looking for what killed President Mills, and probably he followed this into the cemetery. I think it's a very disgraceful thing. But you see, it's a cultural thing we need to deal with in this country. People need to just pay attention. You know, in this country, we all know certain things that are things that we ought to do because that is what the requirement is. But we basically just ignore it. In this country, if you turn up at a function on time, you are seen as an odd person.
Right.
Because everybody thinks nobody is going to turn up on time. So if you give a form to somebody to fill, he thinks, oh, you just wait, well, later we'll fill it. So to some of them, I can understand. But to some of them, specifically, Dr. Ndum is disgraceful. That upon all his, pontification about, intelligence, about his, how he's able to do everything right, and able to tell other people what to do, he couldn't basically do due diligence on a form. But let me ask you, when people are selected by their party and they call them flag bearers, and they are not able to file, are they still called flag bearers? Because you didn't contest. What would they call them?
We'll find out later on.
All right.
But Dr. Ndum, I heard his, policy advisor, Sian Asamoah, suggesting that, well, they have not done anything wrong, and that the Electoral Commission should have informed the party that this and this and that is wrong on their form for them to correct it. That is his argument.
So now they are admitting they are not. They don't do due diligence in their office after all.
That is what he said.
The EC, for their information, the EC has not been set up to help them fill their form. The form is supposed to be filled by them. You know, I am happy my brother brought this issue of what their manifesto. I'm told Hassan Ayariga is in court for plagiarism. But let me just respond.
Even before that, those who are going to court, the disqualified aspirants, they are going to court. That's what some of them are suggesting.
Yeah, but as of now, they have been disqualified. And so they don't qualify to contest the election. It's as simple as that. When we wake up one day and the court says they should contest, of course we would abide by it. But as of now, they don't qualify to contest. You see,
it won't derail any progress as far as elections.
I don't think
what
so.
What the EC is doing is concerned.
No. I think it's the right thing. You see, like I'm saying, it's a high time. Sometimes we all know that certain things needed to be done in a certain way, but we all ignore it, thinking that nothing would. Like when they say political parties should file their accounts and other things. Maybe one day you realize that almost all the political parties will be disqualified one day. Don't be surprised. And I think this is a wake-up call to all of us that diligence, following the rule is not negotiable. Just moving on briefly to I congratulate NPP for outdooring their manifesto, which is nothing but bits and pieces of NDC and APC manifesto put together with some ridiculous propositions. For instance, let me ask you, there will be no district without toilet. Who goes to a district toilet? We all go to toilets in our houses or in our communities. So what is the meaning of there will be no district without toilet? Then it should have been there will be no community without toilet. This is how ridiculous the things they put on paper. Talking about 1 million to every constituency. They've got even maybe a legal reason to clear as to how, as a member of parliament, I'm going to receive $1 million, not through like MP Common Fund, but something to spend. In any case, as a member of parliament, knowing my district, the investment that government have put in my district is in excess of maybe $5 million by now. So I don't know what the meaning of $1 million is about. And when they talk about, doing things, creating jobs, look, for instance, yesterday, the president, commissioned a new cargo handling center at Kotoka International Airport. The question is, this is one thing that I was expecting NPP put their manifesto to respond to. But you know, their checkered record in maybe, for instance, aviation, which I'm yet to see what they want to do, is so bad that they don't even want people to know much about it, because under them, don't forget, Ghana Airways was flying. Even with Challenge, it was flying. They crippled it. From Ghana International Airline was doling maybe 1 million Ghana cedi a month, I'm told, to the airline. Still it collapsed. They sold the properties to themselves. But flip side and see what NDC...
Kwame, you don't have... You see, when you talk like that, you don't have the evidence.
About what?
They sold the properties.
No, Ghana Airways properties have been sold.
Yes, but if you say they sold it to themselves...
Oh, okay. It's been sold.
Yes, it's been sold, but... If you say to themselves, you don't have the evidence.
Oh, I never mentioned anybody's name. But it's been sold.
So,
but
yes,
the bottom line is that
move.
their record on, for instance, aviation is such that they basically ran the aviation industry down. What work did they do at the airport today? Yeah, as I'm saying, yesterday, when the president commissioned a new cargo handling center, at the same time, just not far from it, you see a brand new Terminal 3 coming up. When you go to Kumasi, when you go to Tamale, when you go to Ho, a massive investment in aviation. Do you know what this does?
The project that your critics claim you have,
sustainable
inflated
jobs.
The cost.
Sustainable
inflated
jobs.
The cost. That's what your critics say. They say you have inflated the cost.
You said our critics.
They talk about value for.
No, that's not true. That's not true. We went through in parliament. We didn't see anything. Look, sustainable jobs, because all this big investment at the airport, at Ho, at Takra, at how do you call it, Kumasi, at Tamale, create jobs that will last forever, and they're sustainable jobs. So it is not about using your mouth to create a factory in Adaklu. And I've been asking my brother, what the people of Adaklu need today. If you ask anybody, including their their parliamentary candidate, will tell you water, road. Without the water, without the road, what factory are you coming to? Without the electricity. So you see, once again, it's about just being populist, not knowing what to do, so you have to say something. What you need to do before you can have a sustainable factory is to lay the foundation: electricity, water, road, and that is what this government is doing. Once that is completed, you see that it is just going to be easy for anybody to do some of these things. And I've been asking, when they talk about all these things, half of which is in the APC manifesto anyway, when they talk about these things, and I've been asking them, they talk about how we wasted money. For the 8 years that they were in government, over $5 billion was forgiven them as debt. They were not paying anybody. What did they do with the money? Apart from few Ghana 50 toilets and exhibition centers they built across the country, and then maybe some 6 unit classrooms. Where are the mega projects, the transformational healthcare projects that will make me, you and I, go to a hospital in Ghana and get treatment as in London, as in the United States, as in South Africa? Where were those projects that they did? They did nothing. They squandered the 8 years talking to themselves. Where are the transformation, the capacity they created for the teeming people that live JHS that needed access to quality schools in SHS? They did zilch.
But under your government, the health insurance scheme is facing challenges.
No, let me tell you. I was amazed yesterday when I got to realize. Do you know, just last month alone, over 260,000 people registered to join the scheme. Last Sunday alone, over 4,900 people. A collapsing scheme doesn't encourage people to do that. Indeed, when the NHIS turned up in Parliament last year, that they were starting the biometric this thing, almost all members of Parliament, including NPP MPs, brought their families and everything to come and enroll on it. And I've been asking some of them who are on the health committee, if this scheme is actually collapsing, why waste your time? The thing about NHIS is this.
Government actually releases almost entire money that is being allocated to them. But we as a country in Parliament acknowledge the fact that you give NHIS 1 billion, but then their real expenditure is about 1.6 billion. So what does that mean? It is a funding gap problem. It is not about, in fact, I have to congratulate them. They've been doing some nice things these days, trying to close some loopholes where people basically steal money from the state, i.e., somebody who came for headache, yes, and then claim for, the organization claim like a cesarean section and all those things. They've been able to claim, close those loopholes. Ending up in some efficiency saving. But as a country, we all understand that the NHIS is a good thing, but we need to find other sources of funding to make it sustainable. Without any other source of funding, you can say whatever you like, the scheme will not be sustainable. As we speak, government is not in, they haven't gotten their releases. Last year, when they came to Parliament, we were told they've been given almost everything that they require. So NPP manifesto is actually not talking to anything. When you say this, no district without a toilet, I'm saying nobody in Adaklu goes to a district toilet. We go to toilets in our community. Go to the point when you say one district, one factory. Tell me how you are going to have a factory in Adaklu without electricity, without water, without road. If you say you're going to give $1 million to every district, I'm saying we have even spent more than $5 million in Adaklu district already, and we still need more. So 1 million is a drop in the ocean.
Okay. Kwame, I'm grateful for your submission. Alex, I wish we could move on.
We have to move on.
Yes, let's move on.
But let's deal with the issues.
A quick one.
Kwame debates well, but his weakness is the sweeping statement and the over-personalization. And I'm happy you quickly drew his attention to the fact that he said MPP people sold to themselves. Not too long ago, he had alleged that in 2006, Nana Addo as an attorney general has supervised the sale of certain businesses, and that cost the state, And quickly, I drew his attention that in 2006, Nana Addo was not the attorney general, and he didn't sign anything. I think he's a big man, and he should stop some of these things. It doesn't add up to the weight of the debate. Let me give him specific examples of waste in his government. You had borrowed 200 million Ghana cedis as required by law under SADA. Within 36 months, the interest on it alone was 99 million. And last year, November, you had paid the financiers of that facility 299 million. When your own in-house ministerial inquiry discovered that, look, the funds were not used for the intended purpose, what has become of that 299 million? That is a cost to the public purse. And then you say that you cannot afford to pay allowances to our trainee nurses. You cannot afford to pay allowances to our teacher trainee. Yet you were able to give away 299 million. As we speak, for about 4 years running, this government has not been able to allocate funds to SADA as required by law. I sit on the finance committee. Out of shame, they are unable to give.
SADA is working.
It is not.
SADA is not working.
It is not working. Let them come. It's all media work.
Alex, are you
please,
sure?
I'm interested in specifics. You haven't seen
SADA trying to put the pieces together.
Please. Bright. Don't be blinded. Don't be misled. Don't get confused.
But I thought because you sit on that committee, you tell us more about how SADA
even last year, when we're considering their budgets, they failed to appear. The previous year, a new chief executive came, and any question we asked, he said, I was not there. Go and bring the record. So this 2016 budget, we considered it without the necessary information from SADA. They couldn't bring us the returns. So how do you come
But you considered their budget.
We considered the budget of government machinery generally.
But
at the end of the day, SADA could not, government did not allocate anything to SADA by way of money for projects. Yes.
Because I know SADA
when we wanted to audit and review the previous year's activities, they failed. As we speak, they've not been able to tell us what they used that 200 million Ghana cedis for. What they've rather told us publicly was that same was abused and same should be refunded. What happened to the tree planting? What happened to the guinea fowl? What happened to the bead making industry in the northern region? All these things put together You have failed the people of the three northern regions, including part of Brong Ahafo and part of Volta, where people were supposed to benefit.
Alex, sorry to cut in. Are you aware that SADA just recently went to Singapore? Some investors been brought in to look at Tamale. We're told that the Caladan Park, for instance, is to be turned into a multi-purpose complex for some kind of business. I don't know. I thought once you sit on that committee, I thought you had all this information on SADA.
There's nothing before Parliament.
There's nothing.
There is nothing before. That is why I don't want you to take them serious. Let me give you one example. You see, this government has a certain posture, using the media to mislead the Ghanaian public. And if you are not careful, you may think that something serious is being done. An example is when Mr. President came to Winneba. Mr. President came to Winneba and said that, look, the CDB loan, and he referred to Professor Mills, that Professor Mills wanted to construct landing beach sites and went ahead to procure a loan from China. And according to President Mahama, at the time, 3 weeks ago when he was in Winneba, the CDB loan had been disbursed, and soon they were going to start the landing beach project. With the greatest respect to Mr. President, if he was being untruthful, he was misleading the people, knowing that what he was saying was absolute falsehood. I don't want to say Mr. President lied.
You don't think that sometimes challenges in the acquisition of funding gets you politicians to make decisions, set timelines, and yet you are unable to meet them?
Right. I am telling you that if you make a categorical statement, knowing that that is non-factual, it means that you want to mislead the people. And I've given you that example, that I know, sitting on the finance committee, that the government came to Parliament to cap the CDB loan from 3 billion to 1.5 billion. And they took two major projects out of that CDB loan.
Including the landing beach.
The landing beach and the railway rehabilitation. And their reason was that it was costing them so much money because there were so many penalties in the contract that if you don't make up your counterpart funding, you pay so much. At the time the government came to us to do the capping, they have spent over 200 million US dollars. If you convert, you are talking about 800 million Ghana cedis. Pay that money free to the Chinese financiers. And they realized that it was costing them, so they came. I'm saying that the effect of it was that they could not even do the landing beach project. Yet this government went round the coastal belt of Ghana, including Efutu, assuring the people, oh, the landing beach project, we've gotten the money, we've disbursed. When it knew at the time that it's no more considered the landing beach a priority in it project.
Okay.
So I'm telling you that.
Alex, wrap up for me.
Very well.
I'm going to Kwame.
I will. All these things that this government seek to do, if not for political mischief, what else can we assign to be the reason for these falsehood and lies? Now, let me run you through something. They are a social democrat-oriented party, so they claim. But they could not come out with any social intervention initiative within their first 8 years, and even now. There's nothing that you can assign to the NDC as having achieved, all right, in the administration. But if you ask me, the Kufuor era, the National Youth Employment Program came on stream, which was a major initiative to address the unemployment situation. We had the health insurance.
But you lined up hundreds of youth to ride the energy. You didn't give them the jobs.
What I'm saying is that the initiative started. People got employed.
Yeah.
Under the Zoom Lion thing, that the sanitation thing model was rolled out. The youth in teaching was rolled out. Okay. The healthcare assistant model was rolled out. I was a presiding member and an assemblyman. I saw it happening. All right. In my constituency at the time, about 300 people were engaged. That time it was district, Ewutu Senya District Assembly, and I was a presiding member. So I'm speaking from fact, and I have the records as a presiding member. All right? At least that initiative is there. You have the Metro Mass. Do we have Atamel's bus? Do we have Mahama bus? What we have is Kufuor bus, because the people of Ghana know that Kufuor initiated it. Kufuor never said that, name the buses after me. The NDC said Kufuor could not do it. Oil discovery. Kufuor invested heavily there And
Okay.
we under the NPP
Alex,
administration,
I am
oil
told
was
that
discovered in
before
commercial
President
quantities.
Kufuor,
And they said it was
the processes to get oil had been set off long ago.
No, don't worry.
That's what
Can you see?
So just wrap up for me.
Well, you would have your 10.
Wrap up.
It's
for
just
me.
the two of us.
Yes, wrap up for me. Wrap up. It's just a 30 seconds wrap up.
Very well. Right. The NDC, when Kufuor discovered oil, through one of their leading members, said it was Ajongo.
Mention him, please.
Oh, you know I don't go personal, but you know. The person said it on radio. Now the person is a member of the Council of State and used to be a minister. I don't want to mention the region. But I'm saying that the party felt that, oh, this is not possible. They couldn't do it. They said it's Ajongo.
When we
Can I finish?
when we wrote a
I
law,
will do that.
okay,
I will do that.
exploration.
Okay, Alex.
Right. You want me to land safely? Let me land safely.
Land.
Now, Maslock, as an initiative to support the private sector, also came on stream. I'm trying to tell my brother that you've had the lion's share so far in our Fourth Republic, democratic dispensation. Yet the MPP's 8 years alone, you cannot match it.
Okay, Alex,
and
I
it
have
is based on fact.
Okay.
You cannot do
Alex, you are good. Alex,
construct the runway and fix aeronautical light and come and tell me that $29 million.
Okay,
really,
Alex, you are good. I'm grateful.
No, you asked a question and then he came back saying that I shouldn't be making sweeping statements. Go and check when they sold property number 3 at Continental Road, Roman Ridge.
Okay,
who was the person?
That's one of the
properties of Ghana
Airways that they sold.
Property number 3.
Okay, so at least
Continental Road,
which
Roman Ridge. Who bought it?
Okay.
The person is a senior member, probably even in Parliament.
Can
that is
the
why.
government sue?
Hold on. You are saying I said.
No, because that's a sweeping statement.
Okay,
no,
Alex,
Alex,
now he's
that is wrong.
Okay, yes.
No, if
Alex,
you say that the person, right?
Alex, I'm saying that
like
he made a statement which you said is sweeping.
Of course, but they are not giving any.
I'm just trying to say
my
that.
name.
No. Like I'll take your advice.
No.
Also, not mention the name.
My advice.
Yes.
Then you better withdraw. Because mine was grounded on fact.
Okay.
You are not grounded on fact.
I'm saying. What? Anybody today can go and check.
You've been in government, right?
Okay.
This argument is reserved for opposition. You are in government. You cannot make some of these.
No, but the fact that the man bought the property doesn't mean that he's committed a crime.
Listen,
he bought the property.
I didn't say.
saying that
I never said
he bought the property.
He bought it
Yeah,
illegal.
so
they sold themselves.
Yes.
No, which people sold to themselves? You are repeating that statement.
Yes, I am saying the person is a Cadbury NPP member.
They sold it to themselves.
Yes.
Which properties?
I said number 3, Continental Road, Roman Ridge. Okay, let me go to
please.
Okay,
you see,
you are above that.
I am happy my brother mentioned few things that are of concern. Of course, the issue about SADA and all those things came up, and the government did the right thing by making the law take its course. So as we speak, those who the law finds to be not have performed their duties well are facing the full rigors of the law. That is different from a government who says that
in court over SADA.
they
are not in court.
Nobody is in court over SADA.
When
they said Yoko.
You see, I don't want you to help me. You see, I'm making my point.
You are getting notoriety for making.
Alex, you let Kwame make it, but I'll get you in on that one.
Let me make my point.
Okay, Kwame, please go.
You see, unlike another government who says that I am not going to do anything about allegations of malfeasance or corruption in my government because I don't want it to collapse. I will leave those who made those statements to the. He talked about oil. Indeed, the primary laws of Ghana's oil exploration and everything was written under our government. If we were not exploring oil, what was the law meant to be? And indeed, it is on record that much of the data that were given to the Cosmos and all other things were data that were almost already prepared and done by GNPC using state money. All that happened was that, luckily, by the time President Kufuor came, all those studies were ready, and then they carried it, went to United States, met their party members who formed EO group. Hold on. And then who
right.
is
No, but I won't allow you.
when you went, listen,
Alex,
grounded
Alex,
on fact.
okay, I stopped him.
Alex,
I stopped him when he
allow
made
that.
No.
Alex, I stopped him when he made that.
Yes, let me give you the fact. Listen. Then when they went, then these people allegedly were the people who introduced Cosmos. So they were given 3% or so. Are those two people who are the operatives or EO group members of NDC or friends of President Kufuor and NPP? The result is that out of that so-called introduction of documents prepared by hardworking Ghanaians at GNPC, which was put in a briefcase, taken to New York and given to those people, they earned over $300 million. Free cash. They didn't invest $1. In fact, at the point in time, when Cosmos appeared the agreement, those individuals were supposed to put in some money. They didn't put in any money. They walk away freely with $300 million. So when they are talking about oil exploration, in fact, anytime NPP goes to the extent of saying that they discovered oil, it's an insult to the engineers and those people at GNPC who worked for decades to get this thing done before you came to power.
All right.
The last one.
Okay.
As for talking about landing sites and other things, believe me, it's still a very major thing that we needed to do. It's unfortunate that the CDB loan, the component that is supposed to do these things, was not realized. But that doesn't mean Ghana have forgotten. But he's forgotten. You asked him a question. They made the youth in this country line up that in their manifesto, everybody, every Ghanaian who is interested in working, they'll provide job. In 2008, every Ghanaian had a job. They said they'll transform Nima, not far from here, to high-rise buildings. Which high-rise building was in Nima? Okay. Build a railway from Accra, from Tema to Paga. In fact, even venture into Burkina Faso. Okay. In fact, by the time they were going, they were selling even the railway line as scrap metals. Today, we are building modern train stations. You understand? When he talks about public transport, you hold on, public transport.
Which modern train station?
Do you know that if you go to Metro Mass, if you go to Metro Mass today, do you know that it is the same place we operated Green Line, OSA, and everything. All they did was to revamp an existing project, which has been there since Liman, President Rawlings' time. Nothing. You bought new buses. If you want to do it like that, then all the new buses that we have bought now, we could have changed the name. We could have done it. We could have done it and say, we will not call it Metro Mass because all the buses you bought got spoiled before we came. So we could have done the same thing, creating a new company and then give them the bus. But President Mills, knowing that Ghana should not go down that route, so we decided to keep it Metro Mass. That is the insult on us today that we didn't start anything. Which buses were available as of the time you left under Metro Mass?
Kwame, I have shut your microphone. I'm grateful for your time this morning. Okay. Let's come. No, Alex, I'm not. No, Alex, we're moving on. No, Alex, I'm moving on.
Well.
The Financial Post is reporting that partners fear election spend. Now, according to the story, the IMF and development partners remain fearful. The otherwise impressive recovery underway in Ghana may be lost to the tradition of budgetary spending excesses by government in election years. Now, despite repeated assurances by officials at the highest levels that fiscal discipline will be maintained through to December and beyond, the director of the Fund's Africa Department, Abebe Amiru Selassie, echoed concerns that any fiscal expenditure overruns would reverse the gains Ghana has made since entering the ongoing 3-year extended credit facility program. Now, he expressed the Ghana-specific concerns in a press briefing at the joint annual general meetings of the IMF and the World Bank in Washington, D.C. last Thursday, and he cited the latest review by the IMF Executive Board of Ghana's performance under the program, saying the early signs of restored macroeconomic stability and public debt sustainability to the country would be turned round underway, would be reversed by any return to free spending. Let me end this story here. So, Kwame, I'll come to you because your government is in power and your partners are talking about fear of election spending. And it is clear that the IMF says that if we don't cut over spending or what they call excesses, we'll run into trouble again. Is government committed to ensure we don't run into that trouble in 2016? 2012, we were there.
Yes, well, you can tell that from the posture of the president currently. Normally, organized labor push the boundary during election time, knowing that talk about demonstrations and other things threatens any government. The good thing is that government took proactive steps so that you will notice that they have been doing negotiations ahead of the due date of, the various labor organizations. So these days you realize that even before we get there, organized labor will tell you we have come to an agreement to increase wages by so and so and those things. That is the first step. Secondly, the government has also committed to a homegrown policy measures that we are seeing come up with positive results. When we said these things, for instance, that there are basic things we needed to do to be able to put the economy on track, i.e. resolve the issue about power supply. 2, invest in those critical social infrastructure that fuel economic growth. And then 3, contain government expenditure, i.e. don't just go and dole out money because somebody threatens you. And the day president said that if some people think that we need to bring back their allowances, otherwise they will vote for this, and so be it. Because it's a high time in this country that, like the IMF is saying, we shouldn't go back reversing the gains we have made. It would be nice, my brother, it would be nice if your salary is tripled, quadrupled, isn't it? But maybe by the time we finish paying you in 6 months, TV3 would have gone bankrupt. So we continue spending as and when we gain. I was surprised in Parliament when the finance minister gave the last budget review. When we saw our budget deficit narrowing, inflation coming down, yet the pace of delivery of infrastructure continues to run. It means we are doing something very, very well. They are projecting that, for instance, inflation will be about 13 point something this year as compared to 18 point something in 2008 when we took over. But I am very confident that this president is saying that we are never going to overspend simply because of the election. Because he's confident he's going to win.
He's restoring the teachers and the nurses.
No, this is the thing.
He's not restoring it?
No, we are not restoring it. What is it? This
keeps moving from
no. This is the fact. We were supposed to make a law converting the nurses training colleges into tertiary institutions, just as we've done for training colleges into the colleges of education.
Right.
Unfortunately, my brother and I know that we have not been able to make that law come to pass yet. But then they started withdrawing their allowances, and the technical committee working on it says that no, it is unfair. Once you have not been able to migrate them to become tertiary institutions where they will benefit from student loan, then you cannot take it away. So give it back to them until that time that you pass the law. And I think it's a fair thing. It was not meant to be a U-turn to say that we are going back so that maybe somebody will say, well, then give it back to teachers as well. Today, as we speak, ask yourself, if NPP is saying they are going to give teachers colleges of education their allowances, what about teachers at a university of, how do you call it, Cape Coast University? Why don't they give allowances to all tertiary institutions?
You are talking about Winneba and
yes,
Cape Coast? Because they train teachers?
Yes, they also train teachers. So NPP should be bold. Tell Ghanaians that everybody attending a tertiary institution, you give them an allowance.
Let's stay on this. You said that in negotiation with Labour, this government, in order not to overspend, has done it in such a way that it doesn't come at this time. But in 2012, the key thing was that the presidency overspent. We're told about 600,000 Ghana cedis, and that ate deep into the coffers. So if 600 million, so thanks for the correction. If at that level with Labour it's been done at the presidency, isn't that where perhaps the danger is, where because of elections government will want to go out and spend?
Well, I can tell you for a fact, every government overspends. It's not a nice thing to say or do. I'm not aware of any government, including the developed country, that don't overspend. But it depends on the situation in which you find yourself. Assuming we wake up tomorrow and something critical happens that needed the resource to deal with it because it's a life and death. I think it would be reasonable for government not to say that I have told myself I will not spend, so people should die. That is different. But we are talking about those things that are obvious, like maybe Labour coming that we want 20%. And I'm saying that we need to congratulate Labour and government for the consistent way in which they negotiate, so that things that could become deadlocked and create acrimony at the Labour front are dealt with in a more pragmatic way, and we must give, credit to labor unions and other things, it will come to a point in time when resources are available. Of course, we can spend more, but I'm saying that even if resources become available, let's invest in those things that would serve as catalysts for further investment, i.e. today. If there are better, we had our Gliji festival, like I was telling you, and our community, my DC, the chief, everybody says that we need water, we need road, but we support the MP and the DC and the government to say that first priority, education. Once we sort out education, our future would be bright. We are not saying don't bring us water. We are not saying that this. It's about prioritizing what you want to do. So we give the future a better chance of making it in life. The same applies to healthcare and everything. So for me, the way my government spent money under President Mahama, I'm confident that today, if somebody were to be sick of something, you don't need to think of who can borrow me money to go to South Africa or who to go to London, because you have a world-class health facility in this country that can take care of you with world-class trained medicine. That is the kind of investment we're talking about, not just doling out. In fact, you should be asking, they say you shouldn't ask them. Some of the commitments that our colleagues have made in NPP in terms of expenditure, look, for instance, to say that they will build a district hospital in every district. Per the district that are left without district hospitals, we need a minimum, just for the district hospital, before we come to polyclinics, $1 billion. And they are saying they will do that in this. I'm not talking about all the money.
It can't be done?
$1 billion. I'm talking about building only the district hospital. Forget about cheap compounds and the polyclinics. I'm not saying they can't do it, but I'm saying that
the money is too much. That's what you're saying?
I'm saying that if it were to be that easy, you see, they could say that they would work towards that. But to say that we will complete every district hospital in this country, I think they know what they are saying. Okay. It's just a con.
Okay. Kwame, I'm grateful. Catch your breath. Alex, election year overspending. The IMF has sounded the alarm bells and said we just need to stay out of it. Your reaction to that?
Well, clearly, the IMF does not trust this government. And they are throwing out this caution.
Oh, Alex, IMF is working with this government.
They don't trust the government.
Oh, even when I'm working with you.
Hold on. I can be working with you, and I'll be shepherding you.
They said our record is impressive record in the few months.
I see.
IMF does not trust this government.
Okay, you go.
Because of its recent past. We are aware of the 2012 issue, where they overspent, and in 2013 they got so exposed. The billions of cedis that they paid out for certain projects that at the end of the day it turned out to be political projects, and eventually they ended up taking some of these matters to court, and we don't know what has become of these. This morning, Kwame has misled the whole country by telling Ghanaians that modern railway stations are being constructed. He said so. Modern railway stations are being constructed. That is the extent of their spin, without due regard to the facts. And they would want to say it. So that is the first regular step to check the NDC when it comes to regularity of information and accuracy. How can you come and sit here when you know that in this economy where we know we need railway so much, and you are going to procure a facility for the railway sector rehabilitation, and same has been abandoned? Tell us that you are constructing modern railway stations. That is that lie that Kwame has boldly, confidently turned out to the Ghanaian public. I leave it to the conscience of his party. Again, he claims that a technical committee has just realized that, the transition from the college,
the law isn't there yet.
Yes, the transition to tertiary has not yet been brought into force.
Yes.
So they have recommended that the teacher, the nursing training allowance, the nursing training allowance be restored. Really, straight away, as a government, you are just exposing yourself as a rather, you know, we have levels of incompetence. You can be incompetent, you can be highly incompetent, you can be most incompetent, comparing you to others. And this government has demonstrated and that it is the most incompetent government ever.
Because of this?
Since 1992.
Because I tell you why. That a law is not
I tell you why. I tell you why.
Tell me why then.
This is a government with an attorney general. This is a government with a lot of advisors at the presidency. This is a government with the professor as minister. This is a government that claims that it has competent team. And at the time you were publicly announcing that you had cancelled the nursing training allowances, didn't you know that you didn't have the legal backing? By the way, it's been 2 years. It's been 2 years since the nursing training allowance was cancelled. It's been 2 years. People have gone to school and have completed. We are in October, November, December. We have less than 2 months to election. You have now found it necessary, or you've now deemed it fit to tell Ghanaians that, oh, it's a technical committee, and you see, they've just recommended that, oh, what we're doing was wrong.
I didn't say what we're doing.
I am not quoting you. Okay. I am quoting the government's posture and what the government has put out in the public domain. Mr. President's announcement was to the effect that, oh, a technical committee has advised that until the law is passed, the allowances...
It will be unfair to put...
No.
Unfair.
Forget about the play on words. I'm not interested in all those semantics. Didn't they know that the withdrawal of the allowances was unfair? Didn't they know?
Alex, is it wrong to change your mind?
No. They have not changed their mind. This is not a change of mind matter.
So you make a mistake and try to reverse.
No, they have not admitted that they made a mistake. They have not said they've made a mistake. What they are saying is that a technical committee has advised them. But I'm asking, am I the one to advise you before you realize that what you have at hand and what you are doing is wrong? It can only be based on political gain.
So your point is that you're only deceiving the people, and that the allowances have been
the
restored?
Government knows that.
Is that
the
your
government
point?
knows that over 95% of nursing trainees are going to vote against them. Hence, this so-called U-turn. Even so, they are talking about 3 months. Even so, they are talking about 3 months. You've withdrawn it for 2 years, and then you are talking about paying 3 months. Why? Why would you want to do that? Okay?
And shape the law properly and get them...
Please, you need to pay them. It's too late in the day. They've taken their decision that they are not going to vote for you. Don't attempt to mislead them by claiming a restoration.
I have a question. Now, I have a question on the allowance.
Now,
okay.
Let me come.
All right. Alex, I have 2 more minutes to wrap up. So
you allowed him to talk.
No. You have 1 more minute to do the wrap up, and then Kwame will also wrap up 1 minute.
Now, another
concern. Is Parliament resuming today?
It is.
Okay, all right.
Another concern is that this government has disengaged itself so much from the private sector. You know this youth enterprise support that they introduced? I commend them for that initiative. But the implementation is a total failure.
The president says by 2020 we'll get about 250 million cedis.
The implementation a disaster. 1, no parliamentary backing. 2, AGI, which is the parent body for all local industries, where the proper mentoring could be done, where the proper scrutiny, follow-up, training, monitoring could be done, has been left out. And I'm saying that it's another form of giving out money to party boys.
Okay.
And if you continue to do that, you will not give credibility to your own policies.
All right.
Because the IMF, as we speak, doesn't trust you. You know their last review, it was supposed to be done in July. They postponed it. We came to August, September, and they've just done it for you. I'm saying that if you had gotten all your acts right, you would have received that 100 million that was supposed to be given to you. By the way, why would you go to the IMF for $1 billion?
Alex, I have 25 seconds, but I'm grateful for your time this morning. Kwame, wrap up for me. Just 10 seconds.
Kojo Krom train station is one of latest one we've done recently. And when you talk about
Kojo Chrome in Takrady.
Yes.
Kojo Chrome
when you talk about incompetence, we were in this country when NPP government went and contracted a loan and claimed that the agreement was written in German, so they couldn't interpret it. I'm talking about, and then the CDB loan where I mean, we don't want to go there. But you see, let me tell you, those are just the trivialities. The main thing is that Ghanaians can see the difference between who is just making frivolous promises. Like I gave you an example. What is the meaning of there will be no district without toilet? Nobody goes to a district toilet. We go to toilet in our various districts. Your manifesto is nothing than little bit of something from here. And the last one, when you say you restore teacher training allowances, will you also allow the training college, college of education to recruit as many students as they want, or you give them quota?
Okay,
we want the country to know.
Okay.
And why don't you give allowances to all tertiary students? Why only teacher training colleges?
Or
even teachers at a university?
All right. He's a man who represents the people of Adaklu from the Volta region in Parliament, Kwame Agbuja. I'm grateful for your time this morning. Alexander Afenyo-Markin is representing the people of the Futu constituency in Parliament. I'm grateful too. And work is starting. So you're getting ready to closed session for 20.
Yeah, well, we
the
are
final
likely top of my agenda, and the agenda of the minority today will be to look at a possible probe into the gold watches by Bank of Ghana.
Oh,
yes, we raised that publicly. That we want to
have they actually procured any gold watch?
Yes, they have. Oh, you don't know?
Right. No, I'm saying, have they actually
but they have. Right, you see?
Alex.
No, right.
He knows. He's only asking.
No, he's asking you. Oh, so he's not aware.
No, he's aware, but
he
said if they have actually bought the watches. That's what
but haven't they?
Well,
haven't they?
But Alex, what is it? Are you interested in the procurement processes, or because we're told it's a convention in Parliament?
Listen.
Which procurement process was used to buy the gold chains that President Kufuor distributed? Which procurement process was used?
Okay, all right.
Which procurement process was used to procure the gold chains?
Nico Tejani, my studio director, am I wrapping up now?
Right. I thought you've asked me a
question. Yeah, I thought we were just discussing Parliament.
I can always do the same thing to you.
Oh, no, you don't have to.
You.
Okay, all right.
Okay, go on.
You see, it's very rewarding to work at the Bank of Ghana. You retire on your pension. You retire on your SNIT. You have a guaranteed health care after retirement, guaranteed housing. Bank of Ghana, they don't pay taxes on their bonuses. They don't. So to say that on top of that, you want to procure gold watches for somewhere.
So Alex,
all our concerns.
All you're saying
let
is
me
that
finish. I'm able to conclude.
Society should sit down and look at it, and not only Bank of Ghana, but other institutions.
You've concluded well.
All right.
That we should look at it.
Okay.
And then the procurement itself. You know, when it came to a single window, Mr. President directed the Ministry of Finance to engage West Blue alone for the single window project, when other competent companies had the means to provide that services. In this government's governance, we've been experiencing handpicking of individuals for projects. And the West Blue was a typical example, where PPA still went ahead to endorse that procurement. And I'm saying that Bank of Ghana wants to say that, look, PPA did its work. I don't trust PPA as a truly independent state institution in charge of procurement, because their past record has them. Yes, and I'm giving that example.
You know, PPA is an independent.
Listen, I am saying that in my view, hold on, Bright, in my view, PPA in its past conduct seem to have compromised its true independence. And I cite an example of the West Blue case, where Mr. President wrote a letter directed the Ministry of Finance. In the letter, they stated categorically that engage West Blue. I have the documents. Why should you, Mr. President, sit at the platform?
Alex, you have not made that document public.
How was the gold chains that President Kufuor distributed? How were they procured?
To have the sole opportunity.
Alex, are you aware how?
Whereas many inspection destinations.
So the gold chains. You don't tell me how you procured the gold chains.
Was that right?
Oh, it's not.
In this country today,
you mean it's not right?
You discriminate There isn't equal opportunity.
There are goldsmiths
for
in Ghana.
businesses
You went
in this
to
country.
Isle of Man to get gold.
Do we have equal opportunity in this country?
All right, I'm grateful,
or it's family
gentlemen.
and friends and cronies?
I'm grateful, gentlemen. Wish you a great day in Parliament today as we get ready to begin the last settings. Thanks so much, Alex Afinyo-Markin, MP for Futu, and Kwame Agboje, MP for Adaklu. Up next is business, but we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll tell what's happening in the world of business. This is New Day.